welcome back to Little Shop of Nerds. I'm Julia.
Mike, what's up?
Yeah, okay, so last week's hint was... before we actually do that, we do have an announcement to make. Our videos will now be uploaded on Fridays at 3 instead of Sundays at 3. So, if you guys, as you noticed, this video came out on Friday. That's just something new that we're trying to see if we can maybe get, more engagement. So don't worry. It's just Mike and I discussed it, and that's what we have decided to do.
Mm-hmm.
So last week's hint was beginnings are scary, endings are usually sad, but it's the middle that counts.
Yes, today we're going to be talking about a movie from the late 90s called Hope Float, starring Sandra Bullock and
Harry Connick Jr.
Yes, and if you hear that, you can hear some sirens going off right now.
Yeah, if you guys hear anything, it's just sirens. I live in a town where we hear sirens like almost all the time. So if you hear that, just ignore it.
And this is our other movie that we're going to be talking about, the month of love, pretty much.
Yeah, we have one more movie after this, for this month. And then it'll be done.
So far, every romance movie we covered was early 2000s, 80s. Now we're covering the 90s, y'all.
So this came out in 1998, if I remember correctly. It also has like one of the weirdest Rotten Tomato scores between critics and audience. Like the critics gave it, I think, like a 27%, but the audience gave it a 72%. So apparently the audience loved this a lot more than the critics did.
Yeah,
don't always believe what the critics say because they always suck anyways.
Oh, it's true. Have you seen the Rotten Tomato scores for Hook? Like one of the best Robin Williams movies ever, and the critics hated it, and I'm like, fuck you, dudes. I get it's your opinion, but why do you think it's so bad?
Yeah. So let's get into talking about the movie. So it starts off where this woman is on this like live talk show,
and also
so think like Ricky Lake and that type of thing, Jerry Springer,
Jerry,
which they do actually show a clip of his show in this movie.
Yeah, except it's not going to end with "You are not the father" doing the little.
That was from Maury.
Well, either way, remember when the dads would always do the dance?
Yeah, or when they found out that they weren't the dad, or if they were excited to be the dad, yeah.
Or with Jerry, where they realized, I cheated on this guy, or it turns out this chick was actually a dude.
Yeah. So, anyways, it's like a talk show, and this woman's on there, and she's talking about how she has been having an affair with her best friend's husband. And I can't remember how long she said it was going on, but it had been going on for a bit.
Yes.
And so then she told like the lady, she's like, does your friend know why she's here? And she's like, no, I told her that she was coming here for a makeover. And I'm like, oh, you bitch.
I'm like, okay, if you're now, I get that they were trying to do something for the film, but still, when it's someone, if you're having an affair with your friend's husband, you don't do this on a national talk show, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
That is like a dick move.
So, they, bring out Birdie, which is her name, Birdie. They bring her out, and they tell her that she, that her best friend's having an affair with her husband. They bring out her husband confirms it, and then Birdie looks at this little girl crying in the front row. I honestly thought that the little girl was like maybe like a version of herself, like a little version of herself, but now it's her actual daughter that she had with this guy.
Yes, and she's pretty much talking to her mother on the phone, cutting everything in the every
sheets and stuff like that,
even the couch, and they get in the car and they left back to Texas. And before you say anything, the 90s were a big hit for the country music circuit, and you can tell they were profiting on the country music genre age.
Yeah, so they get to Texas, Smithville, Texas, which is where she grew up at, and she was the queen of the corn. So, going by this, it sounds like that she was probably one of the popular possibly mean girls in school.
And she also peaked in high school, that whole spiel.
Yeah. So, she gets to her mom's house, her parents' house.
And
it's her mom is played by Gina Rowlands, which
I forget what she played in.
She was in the last movie that I remember seeing with her in it was The Notebook. She played Old Allie, which, if you guys want to see a review on that, we can always do that for next year.
I don't want to watch it.
I do. I love it. But
it's worse when you want me to watch, you say you want to do Mamma Mia.
I mean, we probably should.
No.
I mean, I'm not excited about it either, but it would fit in with our musical thing.
Not enough alcohol in the world will get me to watch that movie.
I mean, to be honest, same with me.
But either way, yes, they go to her mom's house, and her mom has a lot of stuff.
Taxidermy.
And I think is Birdie's dad what used to be a taxidermist.
Yeah, and then her mom also keeps up with it.
And I say that's a good profession.
I mean, that's how they made all their money, was doing taxidermy.
Yeah.
Ignore that was my phone.
Yeah, and have you seen that house they were living in?
It was a nice house.
I wanted that house.
Yeah,
it had pillars.
It was a very nice house. So, they go in, and they just start trying to settle into, like, this new life that they have. And then one of Birdie's old high school classmates, Justin, shows up. And you can tell that he has, like, some sort of, like, thing for
I think more than
Birdie.
a thing.
He had a crush on her in high school. And those feelings definitely have not gone away.
No, and pretty much he was wearing the whole cowboy spiel. Well, country music spiel with the boots and the hat and the buckle.
Yeah. So he was, like, helping out Birdie's mother fix some things up. And Bernice, which is Birdie's daughter,
little brat,
did not like him being there. Because she was so convinced that her father was going to come back for her and her mother. At
least he was more polite about it. At least he didn't do the whole gonna get a pack of cigarettes or a carton of milk and not coming back.
We will actually talk about that when we get to that part.
And no offense to anyone who had that happen.
Yeah. So, Birdie takes Bernice to school. So there's this other kid that's living there. It is Birdie's nephew,
Travis.
He's a little
weird.
When we first see him, he is acting like a dog. And then there was, like, one point he acts like a dinosaur.
Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah, Charlie Chaplin. Yeah, just.
And there goes Chewie.
Ignore Chewie.
His battle cry. And yes, he's pretty much the weird kid, just trying to be funny, but I think he's just trying to hide his humor.
Yeah, because his mom just basically left him with her, or with their mother, or his grandmother, and just left him there. And doesn't come to see him. I don't think she calls to talk to him or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because she's living in California right now.
Yeah, yep. And you can tell throughout the whole film, it's like, you can't tell, some parts it's like a heartbreak, parts heartbreak, the other is remembering, the other is can't go home spiel, because when you go home, people who are still there act like they're now, because this happened to her, they think they're better than her now, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Fuck you.
So there was a scene where after Bernice started school, she came home one day to talk to her mom, and Birdie was just sitting in the room just staring at the TV, just watching TV, not really paying attention to, Bernice or anything like that. And I guess she had said something to her father about she was just really sad, and he called her and was like, hey, you promised that you would take care of Bernice, and she got really upset with Bernice for what she said to her father, and she did grab Bernice and hurt her a little bit, and it wasn't like it could be considered abuse, but it wasn't like she wasn't hitting her or anything like that. It was just like she just kind of like, I'm going to use Mike as an example. She just kind of like grabbed her.
911.
And and then her mom stepped in and was yelling at Birdie, and then Bernice is like, don't yell at her. And
well, truth be told, she needed to be yelled at because she was starting to lose it.
Yeah.
And people keep saying if she was drunk, and I'm like, even the part when they were driving up to the house, and she's like, one, if she was drunk, why would she be driving with the kid in the car? I get it that dumb people do that.
But it is the 90s, so.
That's still, come on.
But, so anyway, she kind of like starts to get her life together, and she goes to the temporary agency, or the employment agency or whatever, to find a job. And she runs into a couple girls that she went to school with that she did not remember. And the one woman who she talked to, her name was Dot. She was the one that was going to help her find a job. Just left her sitting out in the waiting room forever before she was like, oh yeah, come on in, come on back, sorry. And,
yeah, and let's just say Dot wasn't too happy, and I guess Birdie could have made fun of her, and you can tell she was not going to help her, but, she said, hey, I'm just trying to get my life back together. I'll take any job, what it is, just let me show you that I can do it at least.
Yeah, and she also did apologize for,
yes,
being mean to her in high school. So, there was at least. People change, as they start to get older.
Yeah. And she takes a few pictures and...
Yeah, because she said she liked to do photography, so she took a few pictures.
And she got a job at a development place.
Yeah, where they did... It kind of like, for all you oldies out there...
No.
You remember when you used to use... disposable cameras and rolls of film, and then you would take them to like a convenience store like Rite Aid or CVS or something
Walmart.
like that, Walmart, something like that, and get them developed like within an hour. Yeah, so that's basically what she was doing, though. I think it was just like a development place and not like a convenience store or like a drugstore or anything like that. But that's where she worked. And she kind of seemed like she was enjoying it a little bit.
Yeah, and there's one, I think, another person who was there, Birdie knew, and...
I think they may have been friends, but I'm not 100% certain on that.
You can tell she was like the Texas stereotype, like red curly up high hair and the accent and everything, and... left, something wrong with the machine, and...
Yeah, while she was developing pictures of her sister's, what was it, 5th wedding?
And I'm like, and truth be told, and she's like, well, it's only her, 5th wedding? And I guess she gets pissed when she says that. I'm like, I would say the same thing. I wouldn't give a fuck.
Yeah, because, like, the woman has, like, well, it's not every day that my sister gets married, and then Birdie's like, isn't this, like, her 4th wedding? And she's like, it's her 5th. And I was like, okay.
Pretty much, he was like the Karen before Karen. The dawn of the Karens.
And Justin had come in, and he's like sitting there. He's just like laughing in the background. Because I mean, really, it wasn't Birdie's fault that the machine acted up. Like, machines act up all the time.
Yeah, and the boss said they're going to have to dock her. I'm like, fuck you!
Yeah.
You got a crappy machine. You're going to dock me for that?
Yeah. So, there. I'm trying to think where we're up to now. So she's still like going around and she's taking pictures like in her free time and stuff like that. They do go to visit Birdie's father in the nursing home.
And he has
Alzheimer's.
But his wife would say Oldheimer's. And but it is a sad moment, but you do see glimpses of like her dad's not speaking, but I think he kind of know he's a little not gone, but he just knew who she was and knew that she needed a dancer, like a hug, and I think dance with her. And you see a little glimpse of her dancing with him when she was younger.
Yeah. And so just life is happening, and Bernice actually is playing volleyball in her class, and she accidentally hits one of the other girls.
Who's a school bully.
Yeah, and hits her in the face with the volleyball during class. It was an accident. Her name was Big Dolores, I think.
Big Dolores, and pretty much she's just a school bully. She's dumb, but the teachers pass her because they don't want to deal with her.
So, fun fact, the actress that played Big Dolores is now a school teacher, and she retired from acting in 2005, and she was actually in the movie Matilda, the one with Danny DeVito.
Oh, sweet.
She was in like a couple of other ones, but I can't remember what they were right off the top of my head, but she was in Matilda, and she was in a couple of others, and then she retired from acting in 2005, and she's now a school teacher.
Oh, that's cool.
She teaches drama, I think, so.
Either way, that's good. But yeah, like, come on, I've been hit in the face with a volleyball. I didn't try to hurt people, but still, it's like, it happens. Try to get hit in the head with a dodgeball. Woo! With the rubber.
I have been hit in the head with a basketball, dodgeball. I have actually stubbed one of my fingers grabbing a basketball. I grabbed it just like this, and my finger got stubbed.
But yeah,
fingers have never been the same afterwards.
Okay, did you ever get hit in the head with a dodgeball?
Yes.
Was it like the soft ones with the foam in it, or the
ones that bounce?
The rubber ones.
I've gotten hit with those and then the foam ones.
I think my school, we had two types. We had the foam ones and the rubber ones. We did both balls. And one, I was like, ah. I was like,
Mike got hit in the face with balls.
Yeah, but this one was the hard rubber ones. And I'm like, when you're in a Christian school, it's really hard. Like, I really did not curse, but there was times I wanted to say, "You motherfucker!"
Yeah, so Mike went to a Christian school. I did not. So
okay, let's get back on topic here.
So anyway, so she goes home and she tells her mom's like, "How was today?" And she didn't want to talk. Bernice didn't want to talk about it. So Travis told her, and she's like, I can go talk to Big Dolores' mom. And she was like, no, don't do that. You're just going to make things worse.
It's true. You don't want to. I get it. People say, well, she's bullying her. And I'm like, doesn't make it better. Once they're in school, it's the Wild Wild West.
Pretty much. Elementary school is like, once you go to school, all bets are off the table. You got to just survive.
It's pretty much like our fucking parking lot at our job.
Oh, yeah. Our parking lot at our job does not have security cameras out front.
Which we should.
We should, yeah. So, we only patrol the parking lot twice
a day.
Twice a shift. So it's supposed to be, 6 times a day?
Either way, you'd be surprised what you'd be finding out there. Trash.
Alcohol.
Empty alcohol containers. shit.
Some of the people, yeah, we've had people poop out there. People drink. People smoke pot.
A lot of people lean against the others' cars.
People have broken into cars, just left stuff on people's cars. Yeah, it's like the Wild West out in the parking lot at our site.
Pretty much like why Bernice told her mom not to call the other girl's mother because once you're at school, all bets are off.
Yeah. So the next day at school, she does run into Big Dolores, and Big Dolores is wearing a dress that really did not look good on her. And
90s dresses.
Yeah, she was following Bernice, and Bernice got sick of it and just started beating on Big Dolores with her bag. Well, Big Dolores was much bigger than her and basically beat the shit out of her. But it looked like that she had made a friend out of that. Bernice did, because that was one of the things that she was worried about when she was starting her new school, was if she was going to have any friends or not.
Yeah. And pretty much, she got home, she's sad. Birdie asked Travis what happened, and her mom, her friend, Travis, and her grandmother, they cheer her up. And it cuts to at a hootenanny.
Yeah.
Or a hoedown.
Hootenanny.
Hoedown.
Hootenanny. That's a Family Guy reference if you guys didn't know.
Oh, if you got John Deere, it's parked on top of a pig. John Deere on top of a pig.
Yeah, so they're at this hootenanny, hoedown, whatever. And, her mom manages to get this young man to ask her to dance. And they're dancing, and then Justin comes over. Birdie was talking to a friend of hers. And then Justin came over and asked her to dance, and she started dancing with him. Yeah. And you can tell, oh my God, you can tell that there is just, like, he has been trying to get with her, like, this whole entire movie. And because there was a scene where they went to the drive-in. Drive-in was closed, but they went to the drive-in and they just sat there. And he was trying to kiss her. And I'm like, do it. Kiss her. And then she just kind of walked away because I think she is still holding on to hope that Bill, which was her husband, is going to come back for her and her daughter.
Yeah, and turns out Bill is also from the same town, too.
Yeah.
And, I saw that throughout the whole movie. Even throughout the whole film, it was just like, just give up. Just give up. He's not going to come back for you. And after the dance social, they go back to his place. He's pretty much like an architect or a contractor.
Yeah, he's building his own house.
Which it looks amazing, by the way.
And they end up spending the night together outside. And in 90s fashion, I don't think they actually... Did they actually kiss, or was he just like...
Well, I do know she woke up wearing a,
It faded to black, implying that they had slept together.
Yeah, and she pretty much grabs her stuff, walks many, many miles, and there was one part of the scene that it's raining, and she's going through the rain, goes to see her dad, and yet her clothes are dry. I'm like... You went through the rain and your clothes are dry.
Well, I mean, the rain had probably stopped in her, Texas. Being Texas.
Yeah, but it's like...
probably dried.
It's like that thing in the Jaws, the Revenge, the fourth Jaws film, the last one, where Michael Caine? He was a pilot. His plane blew up, jumps out of his plane into the water, comes up from the water, and his shirt is completely dry.
Well, I mean, that's different, though, because this was actually showing that she was walking for forever. So it's possible that the rain stopped, her clothes had dried, and the Texas
whatever.
So he actually speaks to her, and he's looking at a picture of Bernice, and he thinks that Bernice is his daughter, or his Birdie. And so Birdie goes home, and her mom's just like, or no, Bernice sees her as she comes in. She's getting ready to wash everything off, like, just clean up after she does the walk of shit. No, that was no, that happened at a different time. She walked home, she walked into the house, Bernice saw her, and then her mom invited Justin over for dinner that night.
Yep.
Then she told him, she accidentally called Justin Bill. Bernice does not want Justin in her life because she's like, you're gonna ruin everything. Dad's coming back for us. You're gonna ruin everything.
And yeah, and
then Birdie goes to the bar to drink.
Yeah, pretty much. But before all that, Justin did tell her off, saying he's not going to come back for you. Might as well give up.
Yeah, and he's like, when you're ready to move on, contact me if I'm still around. So he basically said, I'm not going to wait around for you forever. But you can definitely tell because she's like, I know you have a crush on me. He goes, you think this is what this is? He goes, we're not in high school anymore, Birdie. And you can definitely tell that the feelings that he has for her are genuine romantic feelings. And she goes to the bar. She starts drinking. She sees that there is, Jerry Springer's on TV.
Yeah, and
then she gets into a fight with the woman that came into the store with the pictures from her sister's wedding. She was there too, and she was kind of like making fun of Birdie, like being like, on TV and having her whole life exposed out there and everything like that.
Yeah, and even the bartender knew her, and I'm like, well, what do you expect? Maybe she went there before, but truth be told, you're going to have to show a dive bar sooner or later.
Yeah, so she goes home, hungover, throwing up, bent over the toilet. Her mom comes in, is trying to comfort her and everything. And then she just, she kind of like bears her heart and soul about how, how she wished that her mom had been a little bit more affectionate with her, I guess. She's like, you always sent Dad to hug me. You never did it yourself. And then she just kind of like laid on the floor and passed out. So the next morning, she goes to take Bernice's lunch to her. Bernice completely ignores her. Then that's when we see her walking in the rain and everything like that, and goes to see her father and stuff like that. And
well, either way, yeah. And later that night,
after the grandmother tucks Bernice into bed, she passed away. I don't know why she always dies. She died in the Notebook, and she died in this movie.
Yes, and after she passed, everyone's having the funeral. Birdie's ex-husband comes back.
Well, at this point, they're not exes yet.
Well, either way, he comes back. He's there for the funeral, and they're just...
He comes late, by the way.
And he came there to talk. Bernice thinks this is a sign that he came back for them, but turns out it's not all true.
Yeah, he told her that he wanted a divorce, and Bernice tries to leave with him, but she doesn't understand that. He tells her no, and she doesn't understand why he won't take her. And she's like, don't you love me? And he's like, well, yeah. He goes, but this is a very important time for me and Connie. And Connie is the girl that he was sleeping with.
Well, and
her, Birdie's best friend. And she, is crying and she's upset because she basically feels like she's being abandoned by her father.
Which she is, by the way, which is a dick move. And after a while, she tells her, "Why didn't you say the truth or anything?" And I think she wanted that hope too,
Yeah.
and everything. And cut a few days later or whatever, and we're back at the photo scene, and
Yeah, she's the machine
not
acts up, and it turns out that right in the middle of the photos is a photo of Justin leaning up against his vehicle holding some flowers. She looked out the window, and there he was doing the same pose, and she kind of just. She must have a great boss to just let her go out like that and just go up, leave in the middle of work. And then they eventually they become a couple at that point.
Yeah, and
then Bernice seemed to be okay with it. You see him at a fair. She seems to be completely okay with the fact that her mother, she's like, "Are you gonna get married to him?" And she's like, "Not anytime soon." And she's like, "Good, because I don't want to be Bernice Matisse," I think is what his last name was. And I'm like sitting there thinking, girl, you ain't gonna have his last name because he'd be your stepdaddy.
Pretty much. But yes, it all pretty much they do a little thing. It ends with a good high note, and pretty much it ends really good. I think the movie was great.
The movie was really good. I really liked it.
I think it deserves what?
I say an 8.5.
8.5 on the Richter scale, yeah.
Yeah.
4 stars, and I don't know what the idea is. Pretty much, I would give it a watch. We had to buy it on Vudu. Well, I did.
Yeah. Mostly anything that we have to buy, he does it.
Yeah, and
that's because I supply the apartment and kind of the equipment. We got Mike's microphone today.
And I supply the movies and the Santa idea. Anyways, in my humiliation. But besides that, I would give this movie a watch. It's a good movie for.
Yeah. The only thing I have an issue with about this movie is they had Harry Connick Jr. playing the main lead or the male lead. I don't think he was hot enough. I definitely, if y'all think Harry Connick Jr. is cute, or hot or whatever, that's all on you. But I don't feel like he was handsome enough. Like, I expected him maybe to be more rugged.
But don't forget, they were also trying to do the whole clean-shaven country boy motif.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can be rugged and still be clean-shaven. Like,
just remember what stuff came out of the 90s for, because think. Anyways.
I mean, he was pretty big in the 90s, so.
Anyways.
He did a good job, though, I will say that.
Alright, should we give our next week's hint?
Yes, so next week's hint is bet.
And
bet.
And this is going to be our last movie for February for the March of Love.
You mean the month of love?
Whatever.
Yeah. So, it's actually another early 2000s movie.
I think, actually, no, I checked. I think it came out in 99.
Okay, well, late 90s, early 2000s. But, yeah, we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.